Okay. Hello.
Hi.
We are going to, I guess we have our little notes over here. I need glasses on. See them. So today we're going to talk about, I can't see it, step one for healthier eating and nutrition. So this is more for beginners. Maybe your nutrition is awful and you need just a place to start. If you're someone who has been eating healthy for a while, this is probably repeat information, but it's always good, I feel like, to remind ourselves, because this is something that we can get out of the habit of really easily if we're not careful. So I'm going to move this because I just can't see it. So, okay, do you want to talk about the next part, the first part?
Which one? Where are we at? Okay, so our bodies, right? So the way that our bodies work, and this is something that I've kind of learned about, and I've done some study on, a thing called metabolic fitness. So it talks about how our bodies work, not just like in general, but down to our cells. Like, how do our cells process foods and everything that we're taking in, and converts it into energy, and all the different things that we need. And the way that our cells work is, they break down actual food, right? I mean, that's the way that our bodies are meant to do. So if we're eating more, processed food, stuff that comes in boxes and packages and
With
whatnot,
chemicals,
that have, a list of 20 different ingredients in it, a lot of times our bodies just don't recognize that. So the more that we're eating whole foods, fruits, vegetables, stuff that has just, one ingredient to it, an apple, that type of stuff, the more that we can do that, the more that our body is able to really use those nutrients and to fuel our bodies. So if you find yourself feeling tired a lot, if you find, like Tiffany was talking about, how much food affects mood and, sleep and, a whole host of different things. It's not just, can I fill up my belly or not? It's can I fuel my body with the nutrients that it needs to give me the energy to go throughout my day? Because really, we should be able to handle the tasks that we're going about on a day-to-day basis with the foods that we're bringing in. So
our bodies are meant to break down whole foods, not the processed foods, the packaged foods, the
right, like
convenience foods.
Yeah, like we talked about, Tiffany and I did about like, diet foods or stuff that, if you look at the labels, well, it only has 100 calories. So
it's low fat.
It's low fat. That's the big craze, like low fat everything. That's really not the way that our bodies are meant to process food. And so, a diet soda, might have 0 calories, and so we can think, oh, it's 0 calories, it's not gonna, it's not bad for me. Well, it's still stuff, right? It's still something that you're putting in your mouth and you're digesting, and your body still has to process
break it down
and do something with it, right? I mean, it's not just like goes in your mouth and goes out your other end and nothing happens. Like, your body still has to process that. So sure, the label might say 0 calories, but your body still has to do something with it,
and it's going to end up storing it.
Right. I mean, most of the time
it's not going to know what to do, so it just stores it as fat.
Right.
Okay. So a couple of rules of thumb that we talked about that are really easy to start with. The first one is I've said this forever, eat more from the fridge and less from the pantry. There's a really easy rule of thumb just to start. Like, you don't have to be perfect and cut everything, all the processed food out right now. I've always said I didn't go because I grew up eating a lot of processed food because we had 8 kids in our family and my parents had the money to buy it. And so when processed food started becoming popular, my mom was all over it, like ramen noodles and hot dogs and anything
whatever's quick and easy.
Yeah, whatever was fast and easy that she could throw in the microwave or we could throw in the microwave, she was all over. So I think I just lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
Convenience, processed foods,
right? So
shop around the.
Okay, so eating less of those foods that are processed, and we'll go over ingredients in a couple minutes, but less of those foods, more of the fresh foods. So more fruits and vegetables, more healthy good quality meat, more, we don't do dairy at our house, but what's that?
Want to do labels?
Yeah, in a second. The other thing too is to shop the perimeter of the grocery store. If you think about where all the processed food is, it's in the middle. All the aisles are full of the processed foods. The outside of the grocery store is your dairy, which I don't think dairy is all that great for us, but the dairy, the fruits, the vegetables, the fresh foods are on the outside. Stuff that expires more quickly is healthier. What did we see? Well, we bought some ham, because we're not perfect at this. I'll say, like, we do buy some processed foods, but we had bought some ham because the kids really like ham and crackers, and it expires in December, and it's October, and we probably bought it in September since it's the very beginning of October. So the shorter lifespan, it's not a life, but the shorter
shelf life.
The shelf life. The shorter the shelf life, the better, the more healthy it is. The other thing we were saying was so less shopping in the aisles, more on the perimeter. Okay, so let's show a couple of ingredient labels. We're not perfect at this, so we pulled these out of our own pantry and fridge.
So one of the big things, like for school lunches, like our kids, I mean, you've got to find something that isn't going to go bad in the few hours before they eat it. And so, you know, sandwiches are a big thing. The way that we've chose to do it is just buy a little bit more healthy bread. And so, like, if you look at, do you want to go over the ingredients on here?
Yeah, so just show the list.
So there's, I guess if you guys can see that. Yeah, that's pretty good.
You can
Okay, so there's wheat flour in there. It's got some, you know, iron, thiamine, riboflavin, folic acid. So it's just vitamins, you know, some water, sugar, which isn't great, but, you know, salt. Okay, a few other things. So it's not terrible, but
it's better
than.
At least it's not white. There's some nutrition in it. There is sugar, but there's only 2 grams, and it's in the form of sugar. It's not in the form of high fructose corn syrup or anything like that. So this is a better option. It's not the best, but we choose, like, there are some things we can't buy the best option of everything. A, we would spend $3,000 a month on food if we did, and B, you just kind of have to give and take, I feel like. Okay, so what we're looking for too on an ingredient list is less ingredients. You want things that, oh, and I guess we were going to talk about that too, like, don't focus so much on, there's kind of like a craze for macros, and I have mixed feelings about that because I feel like when you focus on macros, you can eat whatever you want. Like, you can have pizza if you want, if it fits in your macros. You can have candy corn if it fits in your macros. You can have ding dongs. Like, it's still not fueling your body properly. So I teach people focus on the actual ingredient list. We need to stop focusing up here. People are so obsessed with the calories and the grams of sugar and the grams of carbs and the grams of fat. Like, I'm more concerned personally with what I'm putting into my body and what it's made up of. So this is shredded wheat. The ingredient list is whole grain wheat and wheat bran. And then to preserve the natural wheat flour, BHT is added to the packaging material. So that's a chemical, like a processed whatever, preservative. However, this only has 2 ingredients other than that. There's no sugar, there's no anything else except for wheat and wheat bran, and then that preservative, which still isn't great, but for a cereal, this is way better than even something like Life. Oops, there goes the bread. So this has whole grain oat flour, sugar, corn flour, whole wheat flour, rice flour, salt, calcium carbonate. I guess that's one of the things we want to talk about. Like, what the heck is calcium carbonate? Like, what's calcium carbonate? What's disodium phosphate, reduced iron, niacinamide? That's another rule of thumb for us, is if we can't pronounce it, it's probably not food. And like, what the heck is that? Zinc oxide, BHT, is a preservative, it tells us. Thank you for telling us it's a preservative. Then it has food dyes. Yellow 5, yellow 6. Okay, so this is a pretty long list of ingredients. You guys, the crazy thing is this is a much better choice than probably 85% of cereals. The Fruit Loops and the, you know, all those different Fruity Pebbles and garbage that I grew up on. So you're looking for lists that are shorter. Obviously, the less ingredients, usually the better. This is almond butter. The only ingredient, roasted almonds. Okay, so this is a much better choice. And funny that you keep this in the fridge too. This doesn't stay in the pantry. I just grabbed this out too. This is what we get for our kids for school. Has apples, water, strawberry puree, natural flavor, vitamin C, and tomato extract for color. So I'm looking at what my food product is made of instead of grams of this, grams of that. That doesn't matter to me. Like, an apple has how many grams of sugar? We probably don't even know that, but it would have grams of sugar because it has naturally occurring sugars. So stop worrying about that and worry about what it's made of. What's in the ingredient list?
Right.
Okay. Oops.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think we already talked about that. What it's made of is more important. So Tyler and I watched, there's kind of a craze for like eating vegan, or I mean, this has been going on forever, but
yeah, like the paleo or Atkins diet or
keto is a really big one right now, like vegan or vegetarian. And there's this new documentary, What the Health, that people are freaking out about meat about. And honestly, we're ignoring this. Like, I know people, like, we know it's not great for us, but we're completely ignoring it. We're blaming all these other industries. And yes, like, we are big on quality of meat because that's important to not be bringing in all the antibiotics into your body. But we're ignoring the sugar and the processed foods that have caused so many health problems. And it's been proven that it causes health problems, but we just keep ignoring it. So we watched a documentary on Netflix. If you guys have Netflix, what's it called?
Fed Up.
Fed Up the other night. If you have not seen that, that's a great thing to do this weekend. It's about sugar and processed foods, which really, I believe, is the core of so many people's health issues, so many of the no energy issues, feeling like crap, not just gaining weight. That sucks too. But like, we need to be fueling our bodies with what's appropriate and what actually gives them nutrition.
Yeah, because you look at like the health of the United States, and we're one of the unhealthiest countries in the whole world, yet we're supposed to have the most advanced healthcare and everything. And so if you look at, the pattern over the years where Americans have become more and more and more obese, what's really changed? We're probably, as a society, fairly active, I would think.
Well, people are exercising more and more and more and more, thinking,
right, that's
all I have to do is exercise.
I just need to exercise and whatnot. And like I need to eat less and exercise more, and that's going to solve everything. But it really hasn't. And you look at the amount of cancer is just going through the roof. Heart disease is like the #1 killer in the United States. And you look at what has changed in America over the past couple decades, and it's this stuff right here. It's food. It's the amount of processed, packaged food that we're eating, eating out at restaurants, and just who knows what that we're really putting into our bodies. And so that's kind of what we want to get across to you guys is eat less of the stuff that comes in packages and boxes and eat more of the stuff that belongs in your fridge.
Here's the thing too. It's not going to taste as good. Like, let's be honest. I would way rather have a bowl of Life cereal for breakfast than I had some almond butter for breakfast this morning. Like, it is going to taste better. Sugar is addictive. We'll talk more about that. It's extremely addictive. So don't beat yourself up for falling into bad habits. This crap is addictive. And in my opinion, the food industry knows it. They're out to make money. They're going to keep us addicted however they can. So don't beat yourself up. Don't feel like you have to be perfect. This is like literally, I didn't go from eating casseroles and Twinkies. That's what I was talking about before. I didn't go from eating garbage processed foods to almond butter overnight. Like, it's been a process for me. I switched to like a healthier peanut butter for a long time, and then I stopped peanut butter because peanut butter is actually not that good for us because it's fungus. So then we changed to almond butter. I mean, this for me has been 19 years of trying to change my nutrition. So like we talked about with the fitness stuff, if you guys are going from 0 to hero, That's what I like to call it. And you think, I can never have Life cereal again, or whatever else, fruity flakes or pebbles or whatever. You're not going to last. It's going to be a diet. You're going to do it for 3 weeks. You're going to binge, or, have the little bowl of whatever, and then you're going to binge because it tastes so good and it's addictive. So try making small changes a little bit at a time. If you drink Coke every day, try a half a can of Coke or 3/4 of a can, or every other day. Like, I used to say, like, I didn't go just drinking water, like add some lemon or add something that tastes somewhat good, or put some stevia or something so that you can maintain these changes rather than diet. That's what a diet is when you can't maintain it. So, yeah. Okay, we hope this is helpful. This is for people just getting started. Tomorrow, I don't even know what we're talking about. And are we going to do a video tomorrow on Sunday, or are we going to rest on Sundays?
We'll see.
We'll see. So the next video, we're doing nutrition, I think, for like 5 days. So we'll see you guys later. Hope you guys have a good weekend.